I've been around courts my whole 20 plus years in NYPD and law enforcement. And I know courts are not just open just for particular cases. There's lots of other cases that go on. Veronica Butler, age 27, and Jilian Kelley, age 39, embarked on a journey together on March 30th with the purpose of collecting Butler's children. This is a story that's taken nation by storm. It's also being talked about worldwide. These two moms went out to pick up Veronica's children in a custody battle that was going on since a while back. But March 30th was the last time they were seen or heard from.
But a custody fight may be linked to it all. Tifany Adams is the grandmother of the two children Butler was on her way to see on March 30th, and Adams had bitterly fought against more visitation. A custody hearing was set for next week when Butler was expected to seek full custody.
People losing their lives over custody battles over children. And it's just a reoccurring problem that we see over and over again. And my heart breaks for the families, the community, the law enforcement, and everybody that's involved in this. Heck, the woman that went to go with her, Jilian Kelley, was a preacher's wife. She was just there to try to keep the peace. Court ordered an acquaintance by all measure to do this custody exchange. And unfortunately, since then, and now we know their bodies have been recovered. But they said law enforcement was quickly to respond and recognized quickly a very bloody scene by an abandoned gas station on a desolate roadway with a tremendous amount of blood and evidence suggesting a violent crime scene had occurred. They secured the scene. Local authorities called in the Oklahoma Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation and so forth, and they conducted a 15-day investigation, which led us up to the arrests over the weekend of these four defendants and charged them with murder in the first degree, kidnapping, and a various slew of other charges.
Kelley was among 4 court-appointed supervisors for Butler's visitations. Well, that's where our News Nation crew captured this exclusive footage of law enforcement closing in on the suspects to execute the 4 arrest warrants in both Texas and neighboring Cimarron County. We spotted more than 20 police and SWAT.
Now, I got to say, as a member of the fugitive enforcement team, and I worked in fugitive enforcement for over a decade. I'll put myself back on. This show of force that you see here is for good reason. They had to have good intel that there was a possibility to have a lot of weapons, that this was a very dangerous search warrant to execute. And when you see armored vehicles that look like tanks that are going in there, armored vehicles, you know that it's a heavy. This is a heavy presence, and they don't just do this for nothing.
It's just so rural out here. We finally were able to get to that area where the two moms were discovered. Take a look. We just shot this video a little while ago. Sources tell us the moms' bodies were discovered in a very, very remote area. It's down this dirt road, and it's about 8.5 miles from where the mom's car was found. And this is the property right here, that barn that you see in the distance. Our sources say the bodies were found near that barn under a dam. The owner of this land had leased the land. The rap that their community is getting nationwide, because, you know, there's a lot of just good farmers and family people out here. This is what he told me. Did you know everyone involved?
Yes, it's hard. It's very hard, and, you know, they all come from great families. And their families are still great. They're brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers. They're all people that I've known all my life and think a lot of and still do.
Was it shocking in particular with these folks, having known them?
Well, you know, it's not my place to pass judgment. That's the judicial system's job, not mine.
Officials say the murders were the violent escalation of a nasty custody dispute between Butler and her children's grandmother, Tifany Adams. Adams was arrested along with her boyfriend, Bert Cullum, and the married couple, Cora and Cora Twombly. Authorities say the 4 were involved in an anti-government religious group called God's Misfits.
Coming it up.
Wow, it looked like Granny. Yes, It did look like Granny. She had a pair of reading glasses in her hair. It definitely did look like Granny. She got her hair jailhouse braided. It's a 54-year-old Tifany Machel Adams.
The car the mothers were driving was discovered abandoned on a remote Oklahoma road just south of the Kansas border. Officials say there was evidence of a bloody confrontation both inside and outside that car.
This grandmother admit to killing 2 women in the Oklahoma Panhandle. New tonight, we're getting a look at what she told investigators.
This is a motion to hold Adams without bail, and it says she told investigators she was responsible for the deaths of Veronica and Jilian.
Tifany Adams and 3 other suspects were brought in for their first hearing. That same day, these court documents were filed. Prosecutors stated proof of Adams' guilt is evident, saying, quote, the state would point out that after arrest, this defendant, Tifany Adams, did provide a recorded statement to law enforcement indicating her responsibility for the death of the deceased.
This right here, this buildup of dirt, this is the dam. There's a pond on the other side. And if you walk with me this way, just about 50 feet or so, maybe a little more from the dam, you can see where the earth is disturbed, where the tractors were out here. This is where investigators came. They dug right in this area, went down about 10 feet, I'm told, and this is where they discovered the missing mom's bodies. If you look in the distance there, you can see there is a pile of hay back there. I am told by sources that hay was moved over the area where the digging happened, that Tad, the suspect Tad, moved that hay over here to cover up the area where he was digging, hoping that the cows, this is there's a cow farm here, that the cows would come over, this is a ranch, and start feeding on the hay and make the area look less suspicious. But still, investigators were led to this spot. And again, this is the area right here where they started digging and they found the bodies.
I just want to set it up and show you how, when they're brought in, how much of an entourage. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually 5. The last one is an SUV. So they're coming in heavy. This is the second defendant. They're doing them individually, which is unique. They are doing them individually, maybe so they can't talk or get any eyesight. They don't want them all in the courtroom at the same time. So this is purposely done.
Yeah, so the neighbor did spot what was happening. I mean, when, the convoy of state and local law enforcement moved in, obviously shocking to everyone.
We can't let the acts of one reflect badly on everybody. We're not guilty by association.
This is not like what you would see in in a city environment or even in a suburban environment. This is maybe, but it wasn't a lot of people, but it was enough that, you see that there's community concern, obviously. But you see people hugging each other. There's probably a possibility that these are people here, obviously, for this case. And there may be some people that are there to, for other cases. But as you can see here, there's lots of hugs and people. I would have to say these are people that have an invested interest in this case.
You guys.
Did you see me hug the person when they walked in? Is that okay? I thought that was me. You probably saw. When somebody is emotional and they're having a hard time, this is a tough deal. All right. We're not just police officers that go out and arrest people. We have feelings too. We put our pants on and tie our shoes and pull our boots on the same way that you people do every day. All right. We're not robots. We are human beings and we have emotions.
The judge said February 13th to March 30th is when they've been arranging and planning this. So again, all 4 suspects have been denied bond. Next time we're going to see them in court is May 15th at 9 o'clock.
When I was reading the probable cause affidavit, this means, friends, and don't, again, don't shoot the messenger, but this means that they were abducted at that location and injured, but not killed, and then put in a secondary vehicle. They looked at that trailer that you could use to transport livestock in, that they potentially either put them in the pickup truck that the young girl was asked to clean, or inside that livestock, or maybe they put one in there and the other. We don't know, but it seems like these victims were injured, severely injured, and then transported to another location, that property. And they planned this from February 13th, a day before Valentine's Day, up to the murder at March 30th of 2024. This is horrific. We're going to see it through, and we're going to see that justice is served for the two victims and their families. So on behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace, we want to thank you for joining. If you're not yet subscribed, consider subscribing. Hit the thumbs up so the algorithm, YouTube helps push it out. Make it a good week, and we will see you on the next one. Peace and love from Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace.